Wow, the mayor really, really, really doesn't want Donald Trump's help.
As the mayor of this city, I can tell you that Chicagoans are not calling for a military occupation. They are calling for the same thing that we've been calling for some time, and that's investment. What safe cities across America all have in common, they invest in people, and that's what we're doing in Chicago. We need the federal resources to make sure that we're building more affordable housing, expanding mental and behavioral health care, education, all of these things that could reduce crime and provide real community safety. Instead of spending hundreds of millions of dollars for a publicity stunt to invoke chaos and terror, the federal government should spend that money on proven solutions to crime and violence reduction. We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
I think he needs to read the memo on the words, right? And specifically on the crime stuff. The memo that just came out from Third Way saying, let's get away from blaming society instead of the people that committed the crimes. In other words, the criminals are not the victims. Somehow it's racist, I guess, to put somebody in jail that commits a crime. Are you kidding me? And you wonder why Chicago is such a dangerous place to live. I mean, people in Chicago, they've kind of had it. They've really, really, really had it. I mean, but this guy's off his rocker. I mean, he's the one who's out there saying, okay, we hire black people in Chicago and we always want to hire black people. I did something on him a couple of months ago with one of these shorts because he was way out over his skis while appearing on CNN. Watch. Chicago, once again, fanning the flames.
He's working to eliminate black history. He is trying to eliminate black existence from this country, but he's also attacking the LGBTQ+.
I wouldn't say he's trying to eliminate black existence.
I mean, even the CNN anchor had to jump in and say, whoa, you're going a little too far. He's just a little too far. I mean, so that's what they're going to make this about. And I'm telling you, it's not a winning argument. It's just not. If 2024 proved anything, it's that you can't run on these divisive issues of gender and race. You've got to be inclusive. And what is the GOP and MAGA doing? It's bringing everybody in, everybody in. There was just a woman out in Chicago talking about how everyone in Chicago, a lot of black people in Chicago are welcoming Donald Trump. They're welcoming him. They're like, hey, we need this. We want this. Please come to our city. Please help make it better. And this is not, it's not something that needs to be, how do I say this? I mean, it's not about color, right? Like, it's about opportunity. And everybody should have equal access to opportunity. But how the heck do you have access to opportunity if you're living on the south side of Chicago and you're threatened because there's gangs, there's violence, you can't get to work safely, you can't get to school safely? You don't have a chance. And so until the government fix that, forget about it. And you know what? Donald Trump's coming along and he's like, this has really not worked for you guys. So maybe it's time to try something else. Yeah, why not give it a shot? Like this other stuff's not happening. Here's a woman out in Chicago talking about this. Again, featured on my shorts feed. Chicago's going red.
I want to say thank you to our president, the people's president. Like I keep saying, the real MVP. President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, President Trump, for hearing us, for listening to us. We need you here in Chicago.
He says he's willing. And he is. Okay, so he's willing to go there. He says he's willing to go there. And this is what Brandon Johnson is fighting so terribly hard right now. And that's what I consider to just be really, 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 really wrong. In other words, take the help where you can get it, buddy. He was asked a little bit about his hiring practices. This was very interesting. I think this was a Daily Caller reporter. It was featured on their website. Let's take a look at this because it's pretty racy. This reporter just totally calls out Johnson, Mayor Johnson of Chicago.
Racist. Mayor Johnson.
Yeah.
Please turn the mic on. Thank you. Real Chicagoans woke up this morning relieved that the Department of Justice is finally investigating your race hustle. As someone who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I've heard a lot of race hustlers in my life, trust me, but they were usually marching around outside of City Hall, which is what makes this so embarrassing and dangerous. For over a year, real Chicagoans, white and black, have been telling me that your black power rhetoric is bringing the city backwards from a place that
we need the question
had overcome. You want the question?
Please.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
You know, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
Want to bet?
All right, we're going to go to the next one. Alice?
The next question, my follow-up question is a businessman, Robert Gomez, had his riverfront restaurant license yanked. You said that the reason you hire black people is because they're the most generous race on the planet. His riverfront restaurant license was yanked and given to a black restaurateur. That has, once again, reinforced the belief among real Chicagoans, white and black and Mexican, that you are a racist. What do you say to those people?
Again, I reject the premise that somehow that your question has any legitimacy. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. We'll go to Alice.
Thank you. The number one employer of our people is our people. What I'm saying is, when you hire our people, we always look out for everybody else. We are the most generous people on the planet. The deputy mayor is a black woman. Department of Planning and Development is a black woman. Infrastructure deputy mayor is a black woman. Chief operations officer is a black man. Budget director is a black woman. Senior advisor is a black man. One thing that I know for sure that I have to do over these next 2 years, every single dime that our people have been robbed of, I want to make sure that that is returned 2-3-fold. We have 6 developers that have received the first $30 million for investment. 6 developers. Of those 6 developers, 5 of them are black and 3 are women. BOA Construction received the
You get the idea, right? So we've seen that sound before of him. He's got to get over this. All right. He's got to get over this. The people of Chicago want a safe city. And a safe city means, we're going to do this in a colorblind way. You saw that, Brett Baer from Fox. He was actually held up in D.C. by the police the other day. In other words, no one's safe. It doesn't matter, right? What color your skin is. What matters is that you're not committing any crimes. So stop with the, we're the victim stuff. Get over it. This is a new moment in history, a new chapter for everyone. And it's an inclusive chapter. And look, just in the last week, did you see these statistics? Thanks to Fox for this graphic. Look at that. Robbery down 44%, carjacking down 83%. I love seeing this. Let's have this happen everywhere, for goodness sakes. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with safety? Let's do it. We need it. We need it, America, right? We really, really do need it. I appreciate all you guys being here. We're coming up on 1 million subs, and it's just incredible and amazing to see. I hope and I think that the reason we've been so successful here is because you appreciate this authenticity. I mean, and it's really authentic, like, frankly, a little too authentic. Given what happened with the camera today, that's what I call too authentic. But air conditioning is a little off. So, it's funny. When I was in television, I would always get so upset. I'd say to the producer, for God's sakes, can you please heat up the studio? I'm freezing up here. And I'd be in like sleeveless shirts and stuff. I'm like, I am frozen. And they would always say, well, we can't because of the camera equipment and stuff. I'm like, I don't buy that. I don't understand that. Well, now I do all things. Leslie was joking about me being good at tech. I'm really not, but I've had to learn to become. And now I since learned that, you know what? The studio guys were right. There's a reason that they needed the studio to be super cold. And that's because if the camera gets too hot, it kind of overheats. And so what you saw me do is run up and just turn it off for a moment and then turn it back on. But we'll get the air conditioning fixed, and hopefully that won't be happening so much anymore. But like I said, it is authentic in so many ways. Somebody else in the chat said to me that one of the things that they loved about this format is that I have no scripts, and it's just very, it's very natural. It's me talking, and they can see much more of my personality than I was ever allowed to do before. And I agree with you. I feel like I'm sort of emboldened to do all that. You might see me working over here on the computer. That's me pulling up elements, because I want to make sure I get the right elements for you in real time. So when you see me looking over, the other thing I'm doing is I'm looking at your comments. So, we have so many, David, thank you so much for the nice compliment. I appreciate it. David Lorenzo, who's here quite regularly. Don's advising I get a new camera. No, it is a new camera. And I actually love this camera. I love it. I just need to make sure that the air conditioning, which is on some kind of automatic timer, I'm telling you, it's too much tech. It's too much tech. And for whatever reason, at this hour, it's not as cold as it should be, but we'll get it fixed. I promise. Thank you, Time Chaser. I appreciate it. I love that you guys watch. He says there's zero reason for my camera to overheat. Well, you'd be surprised. There's lights in here. There's a lot of lights on, and it's a camera that's quite precious, shall we say. It's quite temperamental. It's a new one, but it's a good one. So we'll see. Anyway, it's lovely to have you all here, and I take your advice, Gary, on the volume between the clips. That's part of the problem with being live. Okay, so part of the issue is unless I have some sound person, and I don't even know how I would quite do that, but part of the issue with being live is that. And so what I usually do is my team takes this and puts it into a sound thing after the fact, so that all gets evened out. But during the live show, that's a bit tricky to do, and would probably take a lot of time if we were to try and manipulate each and every sound. So it's like this trade-off. It's like, do I do it live or do I do a premiere? And I came to the conclusion that I enjoy being live. I really do. And I enjoy this connection with you. I like being able to read everything that you guys are saying in real time. And so I'm willing to, hopefully you are too, put up with some of the tech inconsistencies. And, otherwise we could make it quite beautiful and quite lovely, but then it would all be pre-recorded. Like most podcasts, they pre-record them and then they edit them and they fix them. And I don't want that. I actually just want, do it live, as they say. I think there's this great clip on the internet of Bill O'Reilly from like a zillion years ago saying something like that. He didn't want to do it live. I love being live. I get a certain kind of energy from all of you tuning in and all of you watching, and that's very rewarding for me. I know, Dawn, I could get a webcam, but then it wouldn't look as pretty, right? Like I want a nice, pretty camera that delivers a pretty picture in 4K. So all of that becomes very tricky. Anyway, hello. Somebody's saying they just made it. We're just wrapping up here, but thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to have much more for you live again on the Trish Regan Show tomorrow. Spread the word. Make sure you subscribe. Do me that favor. Hit a like button and make a comment. I'll see you tomorrow.